Public comment. Any of the general public have a comment brought before this committee? Don't hesitate. Be shy. Okay. Administration Finance Committee. Commissioner Ashton, Chair. Okay, I can run through this. Budget and appropriation ordinance.
Correct. So we just needed an ordinance that details the combined annual budget and appropriations, and it is listed behind the memorandum. So we are requesting that the Park Board Commissioners pass and approve the ordinance of O-0316 for the combined annual budget and appropriations for the Morton District for the fiscal year 16-17. So just to let you know, Jim Rock reviewed it, everything is okay with that. So,
Are there any comments or people coming up looking at it? No one has to see it. Okay.
But you'll have a public hearing for the night.
Yeah. School District 67 intergovernment agreement.
right, so we have been working with District 67 since December, or actually even before that, to come to an understanding of our agreement as it pertains to Franklin Park. And the Park District went into a governmental agreement with District 67 several years ago to develop Franklin Park, and with our assistance, we have developed that park, and the school district gives us an opportunity to use those fields when they're not being used for school purposes, for recreation. With that, the school district was supposed to pay an annual maintenance fee for us to tend to the park, and for several years now they have been struggling to meet that obligation. So we reached out to them and talked about that agreement and what we can do to help them out. So I've met with Dr. Flores, Ben Stackman, and I met with their board president and their staff to come to some resolution so that we can have an agreement that meets both of our organizations' needs. So we finally came to a resolution of what we are going to do, what they're going to do. It just really better defines our relationship and what each one is going to be provide to the other into this agreement. District 67 approved this agreement at their last board meeting. I think it was three weeks ago. And now we're bringing this forward for the Board of Commissioners to approve.
Questions?
Is section 7, page 2, will be number 5. It says new provisions are underlined. Can't figure out what's new and if anything big change there.
I'm sorry, let me just read. This is pretty much the entire section is fairly new. We didn't really have a really good identification. Am I on the right page? Page 2? Okay, so it's the okay, so here is all right. They have given us exclusive rights to use the building, which is our building, but they can't turn over ownership of the property to us, but they can give us exclusive rights to use that building. In addition, the parking lots that are on school district property, our participants utilize those parking lots. So like AYSO, when they have games, they're going in there. This provision gives us the right to use those those
So-
those two things.
Again, my question is, on number 5, it says new provisions are, that's underlined, there's nothing underlined.
Right, this is the,
So this is the original, and this is the new one here on top.
yeah, so let me just,
Because this is underlined, and it's underlined everywhere else.
yeah, hold on, let me just make sure I'm on the right page. This is, excuse me, that section is completely new. That did not exist prior to, so it should all be underlined. I'm not, I'd have to go back and double check to see why it wasn't in the agreement that came back from 67. But this whole section is new.
Okay, that's all, that was on there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not anywhere nearly as ambiguous as the last.
Right. That's really another driving factor in looking at this is we really need to clearly define the relationship, which the other agreement didn't do very well.
Okay. New phone system contract.
Right, so we have,
Can't yell out the windows anymore?
no, the two cans and the string snap. So, we have, so we need, our system is pretty old, to the point where parts can no longer be found, they have to be made to, for this system. We experience a lot of, I wouldn't call them drop calls, we've just experienced moments or times where we don't have phone service and nobody's aware that we don't have phone service. It was like a Saturday, I think it was almost 5 hours where we didn't receive a call. No one tried to call, we don't know if calls are coming in or what. So in order for us to serve the public, we need to be able to provide business services in this sense, a phone line. It is something that, as much as we don't want to, it's just a purchase that we have to do. In addition to this, we're looking at the phone lines, taking the phone lines out, consolidating some. We're also increasing the speed of the internet so that once we change over to the DSI, which is the registration software, we're going to get a lot more ability for people to access it so they don't have to wait long periods of time. The phones right now are so old. To be honest with you, I find it difficult just to change my outgoing message. But at this point, really, it's just being able to ensure that we have communication with the public.
On the next agreement, is it a lease or are we buying?
We are buying the phones.
Did offer a lease program too, but it was like $1,000 a month, roughly $1,000 to $1,500 a month for what they call monthly charge to cover the new phone system. But we were looking at that based on the cost, probably about 3 years.
Do we get extra phones and parts so that when this system becomes obsolete, we have something to make there?
We could, but there's right now it's an Avaya system. Avaya bought out Morton, the system we had before. So
Somebody's gonna buy out the next one, to buy out the next one, and we're sitting here with no parts.
unfortunately part of the way of communication. If you want to buy it or rent it for a monthly fee, we're still unless they go out. Change it completely out in 2 years, will be bad to everything. Because the difference in cost would be $1,000 a month versus 17 or 16.9.
It's one of those things that computer good phones here for the last 10, 15 years. This one,
Probably about 2,000.
In the past too, we got 2 extra phones with handsets.
Well, we'll look at that. We should have enough, and also there's going to run on Chat 5 with a table, instead of a phone table, so we're eventually we decide to go with, that part off the internet, do a different upgrade to the system, which will. Yeah, we'll probably just extra for, we're looking at, 20 or so. Most of the phones are located where there's a Cat5 cable already. Any phone, so there could be occasionally there may be some head mounts to have a phone mount. We actually have no phone. Nortel, we're highly produced.
Well, if you want to record a phone conversation. What?
You have to notify the person.
Right. No, I understand that, but I know more and more people are recording phone calls depending on what you're talking about. You know, I mean, when you're dealing with contracts or something like that, this phone, I get that all the time. Yeah, just so that there's no misunderstanding what was said later on. Okay, no?
So I'm sorry, move that to the regular board meeting at the end of the month?
Yeah, I just, a couple more things. I mean, the difference between the two bids is like pretty big. And I'm just wondering, did one have more
Bells and
features
whistles.
than the other, or is this apple for apple?
Well, so the VIA system is from All One, and a different system from Allworks. And then the VIA is giving us a discount per phone because they have a deal that.
I thought you were going to say our long-term relationship with them.
That too.
That too,
Yes.
right.
But, so it always, whichever reason, we're getting a discount. per
So the
phone.
recommendation is obviously so on.
Yeah. Yes.
Is that, okay.
Call one?
Call One's the one, but it's an VIA system.
You need some.
Okay, nothing else? Main Niles rent.
Right, so the Manassas rent is up for negotiation because it goes through the end of, goes through August of this year. And in preparation of that, Sue Bear, the executive director of Manassas, and I have met to talk about the rent. And based on the current agreement, our two agencies are supposed to come and meet together with proposals for comparables for the space that they occupy. So Sue got her comps, I got my comps. We looked at the two. We decided on what you do is you take the two, you add them together, you come up with an average, and that average becomes the rent. And then there is a 35% discount on the rent in the agreement. So when we did the two rents, I found I had a comparable for $20 per square foot. She had one for $16 per square foot. $36.18 minus 35% is $11.70 per square foot, which equates to a 15% increase in rent from the previous agreement. So,
Who was her rent from? Her estimate from?
Who is it from? Well, we're supposed to go to realtors. To be honest with you, I don't remember the name that she's. It's all local. It's got to be from Morton Grove. So yeah, you can understand. There's you find four low ones, I find four high ones, and then I come to the middle. So it is what it is. Just so this is for the next 5 years. Every year there is a 1% escalator. That's per the agreement, the original agreement from 15 years ago. At the end of 2020, we then negotiate the entire agreement. So there are certain parts of the agreement that that we don't like. We can certainly do that. We come up with our comps again to come up with the square footage, but at this point, we're really limited to what we can do as far as talking about the rent. It's just comps, finding an average, and that was it. So Manassas has already met with their board of directors, and their board has approved this rate as well. So we just need to make sure that the Morton Grove Park District Board of Commissioners are okay with it as well.
What about utilities and maintenance and supplies? So we're still just doing that?
The only thing that we can do here is rent.
So you can't change anything until
2020.
They're not interested in changing.
Well, I did. Yeah, exactly.
Can't do it.
Exactly. But I did put it out there that a lot of this is going to have to be rethought, and I was whatever they need to do to stay where they're at. They like where they're at. We just need to.
I imagine they do like where they're at.
Sure, right, exactly. And if you look, I don't know. I've heard that they were paying a lot more in rent prior to coming here, so this is a good deal for them. But let's remember that they don't really pay for their rent. They have 5 partner agencies that pay 1/5 of the rent, so that's us. So, but whatever we negotiate, that we're going to have, it has effect on not only Manassas and Morton Grove, but Lincolnwood, Skokie, Park Ridge, Des Plaines, Niles, Gulf.
Any other discussion? Recreation Facilities Program Committee, Holiday Market discussion.
Yeah, so, hang on here. There we go. So we wanted to bring to the board what we are working on with the recreation. So Dan and I were talking about doing a foundation. What it would take for us to bring a foundation to the Morton Grove Park District, and we were thinking that we could start an event that hopefully that this foundation would be able to take over. We came up with a holidays market, which is we're thinking it's sort of a Kris Kringle market, and it would be a community special event. So, what is the holidays market? It is just as I explained. It's a market kind of like the Kris Kringle. However, you would like to see a little bit more variety than a lot of traditional German things. We're not going to have a lot of food vendors there. Sort of very similar. We got the idea from the city of Chicago. They do the Kris Kringle market on Daily Plaza. Sorry, I'm just going to move over here so I don't block the camera. So that's what the market is. We're going to do it over at Harp Park in the parking lot. Utilize that space over there. We've got the gazebo, the NB Financial plot. We have access to the Museum Educational Center. We also have access, or we could have potential access to the Civic Center. So the purpose is really to bring it's a community event. Try to get as many different groups into this event and celebrate the holiday season. So we're again having the market with vendors, crafters, little catchy. I can't even remember the word. This little knickknacks kind of thing. We were going to bring Santa back to town. I know a lot of people have talked about bringing Santa back to town. The villagers talked about it. The chamber has talked about it. The Morton Grove Days Commission have also. So hopefully we can bring in those groups as well. I know that the chamber is excited and willing to help out. We're going to do a lot of family activities for families, kids, anybody that might be interested in those kinds of things. And we were going to do an interfaith ceremony. Sorry, this is lack of a better word or terminology. It's just, it's a perfect opportunity because Morton Grove is so diverse for us to bring in the different faiths and just, do a tree lighting ceremony, have Christmas tree sales, just, kind of bring us together through this event. So our budget it's a little rough, but we're thinking that we're gonna break even with this. We're not gonna spend hopefully a lot of money trying to solicit donors, but we do have a little bit of money in there. I know one of the members of the committee that has already reached out to the foundation, and they're excited about contributing. But all in the hopes of breaking even on this. And hopefully eventually when we start, as this grows and the foundation can take it over, that this would be a source of revenue for them so that they can in turn use that money for other activities, maybe help the park district in sponsoring construction project, capital projects, maybe even the scholarship program. Just the typical things that park foundations do. So challenges that we're facing right now is it's a pretty tight schedule. We're thinking the second weekend in December, or the first weekend in December, so that's the second, third, and fourth of December. So it's an outdoor event. So right now we're trying to find vendors, and no vendor wants to be outside in December. I don't know if you are aware, we had a craft program in the gym over the weekend, and we had a little bit of a problem with the doors due to the wind, and a lot of cold air came in there, and they were just constantly complaining about the cold weather. So that's going to be a problem for us. We budgeted for a tent with heaters inside, but the crafters are a fit group. They like their space. They want to be warm. They want to be comfortable. And being outside is not something that they are interested in. We've been working on this for about over a month now, and we probably have 4 vendors that are interested in it. So we're reaching out to different groups. We've reached out to the Glenview Park District in the Grove because they do an event very similar to this in the Grove. It's an indoor event. But they're not sharing their vendors. We've reached out to other communities like Elk Grove Village, I think I reached out to, and she's like, you can't have my list, but I'll send out information for you. So it's a tight group. Everybody holds their vendors very close to the chest. So some challenges, I think, in some ways working with community partners, as I said. You had the commission, the village, the chamber, and us all saying that we're all going to bring Santa coming to town. So it's just kind of working together to have this event pulled off. I think it could be a challenge. However, I think it's a great opportunity for us to show the community that all these groups are willing to work together to bring this event together. And then new event struggles. Most new events really take a few years for it to get up off the ground, to get some traction, and this might be one of those struggles. So, questions?
So you got 4 vendors, tentatively.
Yeah, we were hoping to have, I think it was 20. starting out kind of slow. And we set the table rate at like $100 for the weekend, and some of the vendors that we had over the weekend are kind of pushing back on that. It's like, they didn't think that was appropriate, but, we've got a budget to make, so, that was.
Straight farmer's market.
I did, but that's a great idea for us to do that.
The indoor winter one, they have a lot of crafters.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Different vendors. There's
All right. Well, we are working with representatives that work with the chamber and the chamber president. It just never came up that they would be able to do that. But I'll reach out specifically to the farmers market to see if they would be willing to at least send some information out for us.
So what happens if we only get four vendors? What happens after that?
Well, here's what I'm going to most likely suggest to the committee. If we because it's a tight schedule, because we've only got 4 vendors, maybe we just scale this back a little bit. And I don't want to. We've got a really good group that are really interested, and they're really think this could be a really good thing. So I want to preface this by just saying that if they think they can do it, great. But I'd really just like to scale it back and just say maybe we don't have the craft there, the crafters there. Maybe we just do the interface ceremony, tree lighting stuff. And we thought maybe we could have trees on the front around the property. Other groups can decorate it however they want, and then flip the switch on Friday night. Have people say some great things about Morton Grove, and then Saturday we could have Santa coming to town. He could come to the educational center. Everybody can come in, meet Santa, and then we can continue with the family activities out, and do that sort of thing.
Could the vendors come back here? In the gym?
I could. We really wanted to make it a very visible, event, and being right on Dempster. That was just the best thing. So, if we get ahead of ourselves and we reach out to the village and say, hey, next year, first weekend, we'd like to do this. We can do it inside. We can just have inside outside activities. That would be an option for it. But we've got an activity, they got a rental on there on that Saturday. They do services on Sunday, so we're really kind of so we can still scale back and have a nice little event. With what we both got. So I just wanted to surprise you with what we've been working on with that, and some of my weekly updates. You see that tie it in on a bow. Any other questions?
Parks Facility Maintenance Committee.
Well, as you know, Oriole and Overhill are on the replacement schedule. We went through the design display with the public meeting with 3 different options for both the playgrounds. From in there, the designers went back, tweaked a few things. They went out to bid on the 2 parks, and we've got the results back. And I'm sorry. So for Overhill, there's, as you can see, there's base bid, and then you have the alternates for that. So the base bid recommendation is the Hacienda. Is the, I can never pronounce this right, Eleanor Construction at 117, 236, 25, and that is for the structure itself. the three alternatives would be, the removal of the pine trees, installation of pine trees. Greg showed me that we can do that at a later time, probably certainly at a reduced cost. And one of the elements that was in the Overhill design was a statue, and they have this sea turtle kind of thing that it's cute. It was just kind of, we thought it was something that kids can play on and can really by the park, and it's like something to go to the turtle park kind of thing, but completely up to our discretion if we want to take the alternate. The other one, is the Oriole Park. And again, L&R came in at $122,017.40. There is an alternate of $56,000 for a poured-in-place surfacing over the entire area of the park. We do have in the regular amount, not the alternate, there are small areas for ADA accessibility issues to have the poured in place. It's just the rubberized material, can be in many different colors and such, and then it would be in certain areas. So we thought we would just see what it would cost to quote out the entire area. But at this point, we had initially recommended going with the poured in place. However, at this time, we don't think it's a good idea. So what we are asking the board to approve is the two L&R construction, the amount of $117,236.25 for Overhill, and the $178,717.40 for the Oriole.
No, that would be the one.
I'm sorry, did I say? Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
One someday was with the surface.
Right.
Why are we against the surface?
It would put us over budget of $15,796. Because what you're not seeing in here is also the landscape architects. When we added that in there, we're over budget.
What are architectural fees? Back up to the 300?
They were 16, 19?
19.
Yeah, almost 20. Right, we budgeted three. Yeah, the poured in place is a great surfacing material. It doesn't require a lot of maintenance. We do have to check into it. When we have the ground material that we have, we have to constantly make sure that it's raked, that it's raked in the right spots, that it gets shifted around footings and things like that. It's $57,000.
Unless I win the lottery.
Or we could.
Means it'd be the Great James Oriole Park.
No, just the surfacing.
Right. It's a big area. Now the Overhill Park is, it's a very small area, but that's completely poured in place.
So it'll be similar to what's out here at this playground. The chips and the soft surfaces.
So that'd be nice. We'll save them about $40,000.
Right. Okay, move that to the.
Yeah, we're gonna get done with her.
Yeah, well, we wanted to have everything done or to start construction May 1, right? To have it completed before July 1. However, we weren't getting the interest in it because it was too tight of a schedule for it, so we kind of pushed it out to August. So they have until August to have it all completed. And that did reduce the expense considerably because we were able to stretch it out.
Since you're gonna have construction going on in the pool.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but that's. What did chip on?
Well, you're gonna stir up all that stuff and then it's in the pool.
Well, maybe though with the surfacing material out of there, they're doing it instead, so. We are donating the existing structures to a not-for-profit that they'll come in, they'll take the playgrounds out and they ship it to developing countries.
We get a tax deduction on that, Marty?
We're done. We're done. Because we're tax exempt.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's gotta be done, it's gotta be done.
Right. Would love to have it before most of the summer, but, at least they'll have it for part of the summer and the fall. Steam room?
Steam room.
All right, so we were asked to look into converting the saunas down in the locker rooms into steam rooms, and I've had a couple of other board members besides the initial one ask about it, so I thought it would be extremely important to bring it to you to show you what ultimately it would cost. So taking out the saunas, putting in the plumbing, the mechanical, changing out the interior to, I think there's a drain that needs to be installed, it has to be all tiled. So overall, to change the two saunas into steam rooms, it is $118,058. Could we see a little bit of savings by going out to bid? Certainly, but we're not going to see that much of a difference. Just so that, this is not currently on the capital plan, but if it's something that the board thinks it's a good idea for us to be able to do, we can certainly put it on to a capital plan that would require us to kind of move things around, shift what we have, because as you know, capital money's tight. This would constitute about half of 1 year's capital going forward. So, any questions?
Estimated amount of new memberships for steam over sauna?
Yeah, to be honest with you, amenities are very important for people when it comes to selecting a club that they're going to be at. Not only is it the type of equipment, the various stations that you have. You got your cardio, your free weights, your circuit training, the classes that you offer. I don't know. I think when you look at a steam room, I don't know if we're going to attract a lot of people just because of the steam.
We're getting a lot of interest from it too. Everybody's got that.
Yeah,
So now we have control, I guess.
yeah, for parity purposes, we really, we have to do both. Because right now, I talked to a female member who said, why don't they have a drinking fountain inside the locker room like the men have? And I'm like, well, that would be $7,000 install just to put it in there. From what my understanding is, we have one right outside the entrance of it, but it's right inside. That's the issue. So whatever we do for the men, we have to do for the women, and vice versa. So
What if they don't want it?
that's a, well,
Well,
you'll have
down
one
there
person
in
that
line.
says, wait, you know, it's got that one person that comes in and says, look, you know, you don't have a steam room for me, I'm gonna use the mint. You know, or I want to use it. It's just, I get it, I mean, I like the steam room, but.
I know when we had the focus groups here, I mean, we were talking about eliminating local, that was number one. Do the same thing we want. Unfortunately, the pricing came back, but I understand the rate was just nice.
It was, yeah,
And,
it's like 280.
I know people are still wounded over that room, and that's just being, I mean, it's someplace goes to go and get their blood pressure, but I mean, it's still not what they want. I mean,
Right.
And the nursery was a bust, a real bust.
Right.
So, but you live and learn too.
Right. Right, I mean, we could put it on the capital, but we're gonna have to shift the, you know, some important things. I mean, if we wanted to say, look, we can forego purchasing new equipment for 2 years or 3 years, but, you know, that's the thing that keeps people coming to the club. If you're not investing in your equipment, people realize that, and you're not maintaining your equipment, people will see that. And that's the thing that keeps people coming. Not only, you know, people are, what is one of the slogans is, you know, friendlier, cleanlier fitness. And we're not focusing on those two things. People are going to leave. I talked to a guy in the locker room who says, you know, I was going to one that's really cheap, and the locker room was disgusting. He came back. So that's the things that we need to focus on. Because, you know, as much as I'd like to be able to do a steamer, it's just, you know, we've got, my feeling is we have bigger priorities than this.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not bringing that one forward.
So the Prairie View Community Center HVAC controls discussion. So our current system is outdated. It was installed in the 1990s. There's a lot of obsolete parts. We only get one vendor that can troubleshoot and repair the system. Right now, it's all, and correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding is it's all computer-based. And if the computer goes down, we're right there. We got major problems. So the way we did the TRAN study back in the fall. From there, we talked to at least 4 or 5 different vendors about what we can do with the system, and you know, we're recommending going with precision control systems out of Lyle, which is just $50 under what we budgeted, that will enable us to have a system that we can rely on, that's not going to falter.
We would still put this out for public bid, these are just budget figures.
Right. So
we could even get a better.
right. So we need direction from the board to sort of pursue it, because it is, you know, such an expense, and sort of the change of the way the system currently operates.
I guess what I would be interested in is how we could phase it, and if we need to phase it.
Well, you could phase it, but then you would still rely on the Honeywell system on some of your units. So we're kind of thinking, if we have 80,000 in there and we're getting under, we should just do it all the right way. You have your boiler.
Yeah,
your
no, I agree. I don't know what, you know, the whole system would entail, other than what that study is showing us, and, you know, what we can kind of do it. I didn't see a problem with it, and I'm sure we could probably get the cost down. Maybe not a whole lot, that 7,000 to 9,000 seems to be like pretty adequate. Study and
And that low price also includes engineering, so they would do the engineering part too, so.
Okay.
Because you're still gonna need some engineering, that study just basically laid out what we have, equipment-wise,
We got Manassas too.
and that's included in it.
And this is, again, one of those things that we just have to do, because
Yeah.
the alternative or the,
We dropped it once and it was a nightmare.
so we'll go out to bid.
I would recommend that.
Great. Yes.
Motion for executive session?
Yes.
I make a motion. I do make a motion for the board to go into closed session in accordance with the Open Meetings Act, section 120/2C1 and for section 120/2C11.
Roll.